Progress. You're looking at Joe Rodolfi. He gets the start for Rutland against Brattleboro. It's due for 7. That's Jordan Emerson at first base. He got a base hit off Rodolfi. And we're at the top of the first. Rutland losing the first game 12-4. This is their final game of the regular season. And I've heard so many variations of what will happen if they lose as far as their status in the playoff goes, that to make it really simple, they just need to win. And then that puts all the guesswork, everything put to rest. I've heard from both coaches, umpires, players, newspaper people, radio people, and I've gotten different takes on everybody's. Got him, he got him out on a pickoff. So a good start right there for Rodolfi. Gave up the base hit and then picked off Emerson. Andrew Kavanaugh at the plate with 1 out, nobody on base now. And I think, yeah, this is Coach Ben Clark for Brattleboro coming out. I'm not sure if he's questioning him actually out or he's looking for a balk call, but yeah, he is out, and that's Rutland needs to come out with some emotion and some intensity and some sense of urgency here. They fell behind in the first game 5-0 on an first inning that featured 9 Brattleboro batters coming to the plate and a couple of Rutland errors and walks. And again, it's simple. Rutland wins, they're in a playoff format of 4 teams. If they lose, everybody's got a different take on it. So let's just make it simple, let them get the win. And again, this will be their last regular season game regardless, win or lose. So Rodolfi getting the call to save the season here for Rutland. And he last pitched against Fairhaven, went 5 very strong innings against Fairhaven, and then in that game, Ryan Carter came in to pitch the 6th and 7th for the win. And I'll try to catch up on the defense for you out there. It's Mitch Blair doing the catching. Ryan Carter goes to first base. Zach Acquista base got a big swollen finger, and they don't know if it's broke or fractured. It's going to be at least a double. It's over the head of TJ Oliver, and yeah, coming in with a double. So how big was that pickoff now? Yeah, so Scooter Scott up with a runner at second base and 1 down. You'll see a lot of breaking balls from Rodolfi. I mentioned Ryan Carter is playing first base. Matt Merritt's playing second base. Chad Ryan is at shortstop. Third base is Aaron Bloomer. Mitch Blair is behind the plate. Jeff Bloomer's in right field. Rob Dorian is in center. And TJ Oliver is your left fielder. That's the defensive alignment. Of course, Joe Rodolfi on the mound. And that's post 31 we're talking about. And boy, great pitch. Great pitch. Scooter Scott and then Nate Boudreau up on deck as a DH and also as a cleanup batter. He said Rutland trying to avoid a disastrous end of the season. And that'll be a wild pitch, and that'll allow the runner to move down to third base. So the runner at third base with less than 2 outs. And again, how big was that pickoff? Even more now. So Scott, a very good hitter at the plate with the game's first run sitting down at third base. And you can see him already bringing the infield in for Rutland. They want to cut down the run. Great curveball. Now Blair's got to really focus behind the plate. Now he's got a lot of mobility problems with the knee. You see him flexing that right knee already. But you can see he got a pitcher who's going to throw a lot of breaking balls. A lot of them will be in the dirt, and he's got to be able to move back there and block the plate or block the ball, not let it get by him. That's a base hit. That's an RBI, and that'll put Brattleboro up 1-0. Yeah, so they've had 2 singles and a double here. Yeah, Nate Boudreau up now. And again, Rodolfi, his tendency has been through this Legion season to have, I don't want to say rough, but take an inning to really establish his rhythm and comfort zone out there. Then after that, he kind of really just kind of controls the game. But right now, with your back to the wall, basically facing what could be elimination, you don't have the luxury of settling in. You want to come out and be sharp right away. That was a good pitch. And it'll go to a 1-1 count. So it's 1-0 Brattleboro, game number 2. Nate Boudreau at the plate and Colby Bonnet on deck. He's the catcher. So Bonnet's going to catch back-to-back games for Brattleboro. That'll be gulped foul down the third baseline. And I was looking for the pitching lineup for that second game, and for Brattleboro, trying to get a handle on who they're going to be throwing out there. Oh yeah, because it's important. That's going to be just foul down the first baseline. And for Brattleboro, Isaac Earl will be getting the start on the mound for post 5. So post 31 could have got a win against Woodstock on their home field here at St. Peter's Field, or a win against Bells Falls here, and they would have been already in the playoffs. They had a disastrous game against Woodstock. Just really started in their pregame preparation and approach to the game. And then Bells Falls, they just could not come up with the big hit when they needed it. They had opportunities, but... So full count now, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 run in, runner at first, 1 down. Brattleboro at the plate looking for the sweep of this doubleheader. And it's the first time these two teams have gotten together is this afternoon. There's Rodolphe going to first, and Scooter Scott back easily ahead of the throw. And Rodolphe will come to the plate this time, and that's going to be slowly hit down to third base, picked up by Bloomer. He'll go for 1 and just get him on the force out. Scott with good speed was really hustling down to second base, and the ball was hit very softly to begin with. So Boudreaux will be on the fielder's choice. They'll get the 5-4 force out. What's that? No. Okay. So catcher's interference was called on the play. Everybody's safe. Scott will be at second. Boudreaux will be at first. He'll still be the 1 out. And that will bring up now 1, 2, 3, 4. Colby Bonnet. Oh, I see what I did wrong in the book. Okay, so Bonnet up. Now, again, Rutland's got to avoid giving up that first inning, that big inning in the first inning like they did the last game where they fell behind 5-0 after a half inning. Because Rutland's offense really has been a puzzle this year of why it hasn't worked better than it has. So Rodolphe with just the 1 out. Thought he had out number 2. Catcher's interference called, and that'll be a swinging strike, and it'll go to a 2-1 count. Like I said, Isaac Earl will be getting the start for Brattleboro, as Ryan Smith got the win, the complete game win in the first game for post 5. That, and the runners will move up on that, and that'll be the second wild pitch. And again, a curveball pitcher and a catcher really limited his mobility right now. Not a good combination for post 31 out there. So runners at the corners. We'll see what they want to do with the runner at first, who's Boudreaux. Again, Rodolphe with a long look, and that'll be a strike on the inside corner. And again, ball not handled easily by Blair. Like I said, he's got a knee injury that's really nagging him, more than nagging him. It's a lot of problem for him. And full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes to Bonnet with Dixon on deck. There's the throw to first. They got him. There's the tag. Carter with the tag. That will be out, and that will erase that catcher's interference. Yeah, so he's picked off 2 now. That's both outs, both on picks. And full count to Bonnet. Runner at third, 2 down. Very important for Rodolphe to get out this inning with just that 1 run scored. Of course, being a lefty pitcher, looking right over at that runner at first base, big advantage. But he's got a sweet move. And that's pop flied, and Oliver backing up, looks to have it under control. Will make the grab, backpedaling for the 3rd out, and Brattleboro will have that 1-0 lead at a half inning here from St. Peter's Field. Bob Dorian up, followed by Aaron Bloomer, Jeff Bloomer, Ryan Carter will be moved down to the cleanup spot. And Rutland got to respond to that run as Isaac Earl on the mound. Colby Bonnet will be his catcher. Scooter Scott's at first base. Joe Martell at second. Jordan Emerson's your shortstop. Peter Wagner is at third base. And Wagner had a huge first game offensively. The highlight of it was the 3-run homer he hit to right field. Andrew Kavanaugh's in left field. David Velasquez is in center. And Mike Dixon is the right fielder. And that's the defensive alignment for Brattleboro. They won the first game 12-4. And they put all the pressure, tightened the screws, and locked down Rutland. They must, to avoid all the complications of the formula of what they need to have happen if Rutland loses here, is just to win the game. It'll be an error at third base, yeah, and he'll score or be safe at first. So Dorian will reach on the air. Now Aaron Bloomer up. But yeah, in the first ball game, Rutland fell behind by 5 runs at the end of 1 inning. And I don't think they ever really recovered from that point, and too many errors. I had them at 5. It could have been 6. Some unofficial errors for the ball game. From the stretch, Isaac Earl will throw a strike right down the heart of the plate. And again, the sun out now. It's gone in and out between the first game, but now it's out in the second game, which creates a tremendous sun field for Kavanaugh out in left field. So he has to look right up over the horizon into it. And he'll drop that curveball in for strike 2. So 0-2 the count to Aaron Bloomer with his brother Jeff Bloomer on deck. Dorian with a very safe lead over at first. That pitch will be outside, and they'll leave the count out now, or actually make it 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now Dorian, a good candidate to send on the steal. He's just trying to gauge right now the lead as you can. Isaac Earl, left-hander, looking right over at first base at him. And Scooter Scott holding the runner on over at first base defensively. Swing and a miss, and that'll be strikeout number 1 for Isaac Earl. Got him swinging on a breaking ball. Now Jeff Bloomer, the right fielder, up. So yeah, if you go back in that Rutland schedule, Woodstock at the time only had the 1 win on the season, was sitting in last place, came in and upset Rutland 6-5 here at St. Peter's Field. And then Rutland at various times had a lead against Bellows Falls and lost that game in 9 innings, 8-7. Either game there on their home turf would have sent them into the playoffs, but now they've made it exciting for the ratings as they pushed it right to the last game of the year. And that'll be called a strike, and it'll be a 1-1 count. Like I said, Jeff Bloomer at the plate, Ryan Carter on deck. There's the 1 out, and Dorian over at first base. Take a look at Zach Aquistapace's finger between games, and it was big and swollen, and there goes the steal, and he's going to be in there safe. Yeah, as he got there just ahead of the throw. So Bloomer with a tying run at second base now with Dorian, who's got good speed, and the outfield actually playing just about the mid-level point as far as depth and straight on. And that ball catches the plate but low, and it'll become a 3-ball, 1-strike count. Yeah, Rutland was just not only mistake-prone in that first game, they just mentally were not in the game, they were not mentally sharp, and they've got to come out with some intensity. And oh my goodness, I'm not sure where that pitch was, but it certainly was held quite a long time by the catcher trying to frame it, and it certainly looked like a good pitch. Yeah. So Isaac Earl with runners at first and second. Now we'll look at the cleanup batter, Ryan Carter. Yeah, maybe if they could get the lead, Rutland would start to get the blood flowing back through the veins here. They need that intensity they had against Fairhaven in that 4-2 win here just about 5 days ago. Well, 4 days ago, but they were tape delayed. So 1 ball, no strike count. Isaac Earl will ask for his catcher to come out if he wants to go over something with his catcher. So as they get together, actually the head coach coming out also. So it was quite a lengthy meeting actually, and now Long look in after he just got done talking to his catcher to get the sign. And that goes past. Wild pitch. You see the runner Dorian move up and the runner on the trail move up. Will be Jeff Bloomer, so they'll go up to second and third now. And again, Rutland's got to just pull out everything they can out of their bag of tricks they offensively and with the pitching, and because they can just end all the different formulas people are throwing at me as far as how they could get in the playoffs, even if they lose this doubleheader, by just winning this game. Ooh, another close pitch called the ball. So it goes to a 3-0 count now to Carter with Chad Ryan on deck. Twisted base will not be available. Again, like I said, his finger just probably 4 times its size right now, all swelled up. Yeah, and that's going to be handled, throw, and got him for the out. The run does come across the plate, and Rutland will tie it up at 1. But that's been their scenario all year. They can hunt and peck and pick away, but they can't have. I don't remember a big inning against a quality team all season long. And Chad Ryan up now. He had a couple hits in that first ball game, had an RBI and a double, and getting now a runner at third. And that pitch called a strike. A lot of movement on that pitch from that left-handed pitcher. You can just see the ball zigging and zagging everywhere. So 2 down, 1 run in. We're tied at 1. That's going to be up the middle, and that's going to be hit so slow they'll have to. Yeah, they're not going to have a chance. A run will score, even if the shortstop Emerson comes up with it cleanly. I'm not sure they'll get the speedy Chad Ryan. And so Rutland now able to get the lead for the first time this afternoon. And now the designated hitter, Mike Sorelli, up. Again, he's been like Chad Ryan. He's been one of the more consistent hitters in the last several ball games. And he'll swing at that first pitch fastball. There goes the runner, and there goes the swing and the miss, and yeah, he'll have the stolen base as the catcher just wisely behind it there ate the ball. And so, see, with base runners on, Rutland able to get their game playing inactive with the aggressive base running and not make Brattleboro so comfortable. And that'll be fouled straight back. That was right over the plate, and Chad Ryan's eyes got big on that one, but he's just late on the swing, and he'll still be down the count 1-2. Joe Rodolphe. Yep. And he'll swing at that, get all tied up, and just got a piece of it to stay alive. So he'll stay with that 0-2 count. On deck is TJ Oliver for Sorelli, hitting in that DH spot. He was the third baseman in the first ball game. Yeah, he took too long, and they'll ask for time. And that runner down at second base is Chad Ryan. And again, on a single, he's got the kind of speed he could easily come home to score on. That'd be way outside. It'll become a 1-2 count. Again, Rutland with 2 runs so far here in the first to respond to Brattleboro's 1 run in the top half of this inning. A couple mistakes by Brattleboro in the field. And they're going to, I think he checked his swing, see if they'll look down to the field umpire. And no, he will have held his swing up for a 2-2 count now. So Sorelli able to choke that one off. As Isaac Earl on the mound with the pitch in the bottom of the first. And that, I believe, will travel too far out of reach of Scooter Scott. Will give it a good run, but he'll pick it up in foul territory, and Sorelli will go back and remain in the batter's box and get a chance to swing the bat again here. So game number 2, Rutland hoping it's the charmer here, that they'll be able to take a deep sigh of relief and kind of refocus everything and what's left in the week before the tournament starts. If they did qualify, was trying to get their game back together. Yeah, they'll be out of the strike zone, and he's worked it to a full count now, so he's fouled out some good pitches, and he's made Isaac Earl work here deep into the count. With 2 down, that runner at second, Chad Ryan, Mike Sorelli Again, another foul ball. This is turning into an excellent at bat for Mike Sorelli. I'd like to see it in a base hit or a walk, but even if he didn't, he's made Earl rack up some pitches here. So from the set to the plate, and he will get a walk. Yep, so it'll be first and second now for T.J. Oliver, the left fielder. Now, T.J. was the pitcher in the first ball game, the starting pitcher, and he was DH'd for, so he's back in there. And before he had left for that week for vacation, he was swinging a hot bat for post 31 all season. Hopefully he brought that back with him. And that pitch had some pop on it. Not only was it a good location, but the catcher's mitt kind of hear that pop when he hit it. So Isaac Earl looking to get out of this inning. Oh, and that was caught by Scooter Scott in foul territory. That's inning. 2-1 Rutland going into the second over Brattleboro. Alfie been handing the leader to start at the top of the second. He'll look at Mike Dixon, Pete Wagner, and Joel Martell, all three very hot hitters from game number 1. That's going to be a chopper, and just off from the end of the glove of Chad Ryan. So they'll get the second inning in the row. They'll get the leadoff batter on. Pete Wagner up. Like I said, he had a tremendous first ball game. He involved in 8 of the 12 runs for Brattleboro, and it culminated with him hitting a 3-run homer over the right field wall. And again, that'll be the third wild pitch of the ball game. And so Pete Wagner now the runner in the tying run down in scoring position. And Dixon and Martell on deck. So Rodolfi working from the stretch. Will drop the curveball over for a strike. Yeah, so you see Rodolfi now take a look at that runner at second, check him back, and boy, almost handcuffed Blair like he wasn't expecting that fastball. Getting that defense real quick. I already mentioned Blair behind the plate, but you got Ryan Carter playing first base. Mitch Blair is your catcher at as I had to wait for a minute there and take a look at that. That's going to be hit. Oh, nice snag. Rodolfi will look the runner back to second, go to Carter, and they'll get the out. Nice job by Joel Rodolfi. Matt Merritt's at second. Shortstop's Chad Ryan, and Bloomer's over at third base. Aaron Bloomer. So there's 1 out, 1 on, and Joel Martell up with David Velasquez, center fielder, on deck. And so Rodolfi trying to work out this inning with that runner at second, and that will be called high for a ball. I'm just catching up on my paperwork. So Rodolfi with a 1 ball, no strike count will come back with the fastball. It'll be nubbed foul. Yeah, so let's just go that Carter's at first, Merritt at second, Chad Ryan's at short, Aaron Bloomer is at third. Mitch Blair's behind the plate. And Joe Rodolfi on the mound. I'll do that outfield in just a second. With a 1-1 count. That's going to come back to Rodolfi. He'll short hop it, go to first, and get the second out. Yeah, so see Rodolfi now in the second inning, starting to settle into a groove, kind of finding his control on that curveball. And Velasquez up now. He also represents number 9 spot in the order, which means top of the order. Emerson on deck. And that first pitch will be strike 1. Oh my goodness, they'll call it high. He's got to get that call throughout the ball game. Okay, I got all the paperwork caught up. That'll be a swing and a miss for a strike. It'll be a 1-1 count now. And again, your PEGTV's website is www.pegtv.com. You can go there and get scheduling information, all kinds of information. You can also click on video on demand and watch the programming right there on your computer instead of on the television. That's going to be the short, big hop. Chad Ryan will skip it over, and Ryan Carter with the scoop, and they'll get out of the inning holding that 2-1 lead over Brattleboro. So Matt Merritt, Mitch Blair, and then Rob Dorian to appear in the bottom of the second for Post 31. They have that 2-1 lead, and a good scoop by Ryan Carter on that throw from Chad Ryan. Able to get that third out of the inning to preserve that 2-1 lead. And Isaac Earl on the mound for Brattleboro. And that's going to be chopped down the third baseline and foul. That'll be picked up by Coach Tony Sorelli. And this is game number 2 if you're just joining us. Rutland losing the first game of the doubleheader 12-4 to Brattleboro. Up in this game 2-1. And if they win it, all the calculations are over. They're in the playoffs. Just I've heard so many variations of what happens if they get swept today that I'm dizzy and confused from it. That breaking ball just didn't break. It'll be outside, and it'll be a 2-2 count now. Like I said, Matt Merritt batting in that number 8 spot, was the number 9 hitter in the first ball game. And he's had a very good season at the plate. That's going to be back to Isaac Earl. He'll make the play over to first, and they'll get him. So they get the leadoff batter out here in the second inning on that 1-3 ground out, and oh, they're going to have, okay, because on the scorecard, oh yeah, it's terrible information. I don't understand how the coaches, I just don't understand how they give me a lineup and then they change it like that. So Blair is not batting. I screwed up again. Rodolphe at the plate. I tell you, soccer is so much easier to call. And that's not because Kevin Ratty's sitting in the top bleachers next to me. No, it's just soccer's a slower sport. So and that will be pulled down to Scooter Scott. He'll have plenty of time. He'll pick it up and get the out. So that'll be unassisted to Scott at first. And it's Rodolphe who will ground out. Speaking of good soccer players, Rodolphe, an excellent soccer player for that other high school in the city. Now Dorian, he reached on an error and scored back in the first inning. Also had a stolen base. He's up there at 2 down and nobody on, and looking at strike 1. Now Aaron Bloomer on deck. There's been 1 strikeout so far for Isaac Earl. That was Aaron Bloomer, the on-deck batter. And that is lifted and looks to be playable as he'll drift back on the ball, make the catch. That's the third out, and that was taken by Dixon, and it'll be 2-1 Rutland going into the third inning over Brattleboro. 2-1 lead going back to work. Looking at Jordan Emerson, who had a single but got then picked off, and that's going to drop in there for his second base hit as TJ Oliver will come in and pick the ball up and see if Emerson has studied the move of Rodolphe after getting picked off. They'll bring up Andrew Kavanaugh, who had a double. And that first inning was the roughest for Rodolphe. He had given up 2 singles and a double and only gave up the 1 run. Picked off 2 batters. And so Kavanaugh from the left side of the plate against the left-handed pitcher. And that'll be high, and you hold up on that'll be ball 1. We're in the third, scheduled for 7. Rutland wins, they're in the playoffs. And like I said, this is their final game of the regular season regardless, and they can kind of try to regroup. And that has popped up a mile in the air. Dorian, and he'll come in front of Bloomer and make the catch. He also had all the talking going over in there. Yeah, and they were able to chat it up and make the communications work. So that'll be the first out. So Scooter's Scott up now. He singled and had an RBI back in the first inning. So again, that leaves Emerson over at first. And yeah, he's watching Rodolphe very carefully. Like I said, Rodolphe with 2 pickoffs in that first inning. Picked off Emerson and also picked off Boudreaux. And with Scott at the plate. He represents a very good hitter up there, and they lay off that curveball. And one thing they've got to improve upon is the pass balls, wild pitches between Blair and Rodolfi. That been 3 of them in the ball game so far, and we're only in the 3rd inning. That's a good pitch. Nick the outside corner. It'll be called a strike, and it'll leave everything up at 1-1. And it does remind me to tell you, Boudreaux is the on-deck hitter. The DH, he DH'd in the first game. He's DHing here in the second. Scott, who's an exceptionally good pitcher, being the first baseman here in both the first and second game. And it is overcast, but hopefully they'll get the game in. Well, an interruption from rain, and he'll swing through that curveball on the inside corner, and we'll have a 2-2 count. Rodolfi without a strikeout yet in the ball game, but his job, don't hurt yourself with walks and stuff. Let your defense, who's been very shaky behind all the pitchers the last 4 or 5 games, let them try to make the play, and he will get the first strikeout. And also become the second out of the inning, and first strikeout of the ball game. Yeah, Boudreaux up now. Like I said, he got on base and got picked off. There was catcher's interference that allowed Boudreaux to be on and be safe. And there's the move to first. And you can see Emerson. Much shorter lead this time around. He's back-to-back singles. And there's going to be the pitch in the dirt, and that'll allow the runner, there he is, to go down to second base. That is the 4th time that has happened today already. Well, that's just giving up an extra base. You don't need 2 down. Runner in scoring position is Emerson, and Boudreaux at the plate, and the catcher, Colby Bonnet, on deck. So again, started the coverage on the 21st of June, went through the whole season, and I don't know if he tagged him or not, but yeah, let's say he is out. Okay, so that is the 3rd out. They'll get the tag over on the runner going to 3rd and see if there's going to be discussion or if he really was out. Yeah, so we'll stay 2-1 Rutland going into the bottom of the 3rd. The bottom of the 3rd, looking at the number 2, 3, 4 batting order. Aaron Bloomer, Jeff Bloomer, and Ryan Carter due up. And Rutland with that 2-1 lead. I said they can make their life a lot easier with just getting the win here in game number 2, and that would qualify them for the postseason. That pitch will be too far inside. It'll be low, and it'll be ball 2. It'll be on the catcher's reach. And Aaron Bloomer struck out back in the 1st inning. That's the only strikeout recorded so far by Isaac Earl. The big lefty out there. Again, he caught the plate but low, and they'll go to a 3-ball, no strike count. I expect Aaron Bloomer to be taking all the way. As we're scheduled for 7. And there's strike 1. Yeah, right down the heart of the plate, and I've never understood. Not giving him the automatic swing sign, but giving him the okay if it's like that right there, down big meatball down the middle of the plate to turn him loose on it. That's popped up, and it looks to be playable over there by Dixon, and he'll make the grab. And if you won't let him swing at the 3-0 pitch, but you let him go after the 3-1, I've never understood that from any coach. So Bloomer up, he walked and scored, and also had a stolen base back in that 1st inning. That's when Rutland scored their 2 runs. That's just when both teams did all their scoring. Brattleboro with a run and Rutland with 2. And that pitch called a strike. And like I said, Rutland's, he's late on that swing. And if you start looking at where the damage has been done for Rutland throughout the last second half of the season, batting-wise, it's been Chad Ryan, Matt Merritt, Aaron Bloomer. But they need their big guns to start coming up and producing. So 2 down, nobody on for Ryan Carter. He had a ground out to shortstop, but also drove in a run. So They'll start him off with a curveball. And he didn't like it. He thought it was low and outside, and he steps back and studies the strike zone, and to no avail. It'll be 0-1 the count. And that'll be held up for a ball. So 1-1 the count, and Chad Ryan, in case Carter does do some damage here and get on base, Chad Ryan will be on deck. And he'll skip in the dirt to the backstop for ball 2. Yep, Rutland. Longest winning streak of the season was a 3-game winning streak. And like I said, their offense, basically against good pitchers, good ball clubs, really struggled to find itself. And they need to get that fixed right here this game. They're up 2-1. If they're not going to get the offense cranked up in this game, then they better tighten up their defense, which was very good the first half of the season and was a head-scratcher the second half of the season. And they're very careful pitching to Ryan Carter right there, and he'll draw the walk with 2 down. Now bring up Chad Ryan, who reached on an error committed by the shortstop, Emerson. So again, never too late to get a rally going here, even with 2 down. Mike Shirley, the DH, on deck. And the pitch from Isaac Earl. That's going to go right off Earl up the middle, and Chad Ryan continues that hot hitting with another single. Like I said, Ryan has been one of the most productive base or batting threats all season long, and especially strong in the second half, along with this guy here, Mike Sorelli. So Sorelli with runners at first and second now, trying to increase that 2-1 lead. Has Carter out at second base, Ryan over at first. And Isaac Earl from the stretch. And that's going to be a base hit for Sorelli, and they're going to send Carter home, and he will be coming in safe. They'll come up the line. There's a throw to third, and what a play to get him at third base. The run will count, though, but tremendous catch and throw to get the runner out, Chad Ryan, at third base. Bang, bang play. So it'll be 3-1 Rutland going into the 4th inning over Brattleboro. So Colby Burnett, Mike Dixon, Pete Wagner, as Rutland able to tag a run on there and make it a 2-run cushion in Rodolphe. And this is where, from the 3rd to the 6th, is Rodolphe usually gets very, very good and very dominant. And you can see the good speed by Dorian. One pitch went out as Dorian will come in all the way from center field and make the grab. So they retire the leadoff batter here in the 4th, scheduled for 7. Dixon up. He's only been up once. That was in the 2nd inning. He got a single and ended up being stranded over at third base. But yeah, I mean, Rodolphe, in all the games I've ever watched, whether it was junior Babe Ruth, senior Babe Ruth, high school, or Legion ball now, this is his zone now, the middle innings. Now he's found the grip, he's found the release point. He's established, whether it's the fastball or the curveball, whatever, he knows what's working now, and plus it's the 2nd time to the order for the batters, so he's going to make the adjustment to them and make them guess what's coming. And boy, I tell you what, they've been doing some real firewood chopping. Ron Fairbanks with the hustle after the foul ball down there. Heading back to get oxygen now at the dugout. Of course, Ron just picking on a great job with the general manager's job here at Post 31. So 1-2 the count. Rodolphe with the strikeout in the 3rd inning of Scooter Scott, his only strikeout to this point. And that'll go down the first baseline, foul as he reached out and just poked it down. In that 1st inning, Rodolphe weathered it, got through it. He gave up 2 singles and a double and only gave up the 1 run. Helped himself out tremendously with a couple pickoffs as they reload with some of these foul balls. Now back to the home base umpire. And that's going to be a foul ball. About same location, same everything. So Rutland, American Legion Post 31, looking to get into the playoffs. Hope you've enjoyed all the Legion baseball coverage, even though it was presented by me. But I try. Like I've always said, the best way to catch the Legion game is live and in person, or to mute your television, set out and watch the video. when Rodolphe fell off the mound. Good thing he wasn't that tall. He slipped, lost his balance, and he'll go to a 2-2 count. Remember, T.J. Oliver in the first game stumbled off the mound and appeared to have injured himself. That's going to be picked up by Bloomer. He'll set himself, make the throw, and just did get him. Nice stretch right there by Ryan Carter. Really made the play. It was a very casual field and throw. Now Pete Wagner up. He grounded out to the pitcher, Rodolphe, back in the second. Wagner with a massive first ball game from the plate. And again, Rutland will be without the services of Zach Aquistapes not only for this second game, but if they do make the playoffs, boy, unless they can find a miracle cure to fix his finger, they will miss him for the playoffs. And that's hit deep, that's hit far, and that's going to be at least a double. So that's twice that he's been able to stroke it out there. He's going to turn the corner, head to third base, and they get in position, and he's out. He is out by a mile. And you can see Bloomer with the tag, fires him up. See if that momentum will carry over now. That spirit and enthusiasm will carry over from the defensive play into the offense as Rutland will throw Wagner out, trying to stretch it to third base as that became a double. He tried to stretch it to a triple, and he'll be gone. 3-1 Rutland going into the bottom of the fourth. So that great play that ended the last inning defensively went 9-4-5. It went from Jeff Bloomer to Matt Merritt to Aaron Bloomer. And again, great job of hustling A after the ball, B getting the cutoff, and a good throw from the cutoff to the third baseman. And they'll maintain that 3-1 lead. And I'd like to see him put some distance between them and Brattleboro. I don't need any roll-aids or nail-biting situation here this late in the season. So T.J. Oliver, Matt Merritt, and Joe Rodolphe do up 7, 8, and 9 spot, and then if they go to a fourth batter, they'll be back around to Rob Dorian in the top of the order. And he is gone on the curveball. Chopping wood. Third strikeout of the ball game for Isaac Earl, the pitcher for Brattleboro. Yeah, and just much as my opinion, just conjecture, speculation, whatever you want to call it. Well, I'll wait till this pop-up looks like it's going to be fielded by Martell. He'll make the grab, and there's 2 down. But Oliver left on vacation for a week. And up until that point, he'd probably been one of their most effective pitchers and hitters and versatile fielders. And now, not that he pitched bad in the first game, but he's got to kind of, after a week off of no baseball, not thinking it, not playing it, going to take him a couple, 3 games, kind of get back into that same, hopefully that same great form he was in before he left on vacation. And Rodolphe will duck down out of the way of that for an obvious ball 1. Isaac Earl looking to have a efficient 4th inning. There's just talk out in front of me in the bleacher area about, Rodolphe going to get to the 5th. What do you do with him? Wow, if he's throwing as well as he is and controlling the game, you just stick with it. You ride him as many innings as he'll go. And that will miss for a 2-1 count. There was some question on it, but it was definitely outside and low. And a check swing foul goes over in that third base dugout over the post 31. So they'll get reset. Got the new ball, and Isaac Earl, number 12, into the full windup. And that might drop in. That's a little flare, and it will drop in. So he'll have the hold up. He was thinking about it. Hold up, make it a single. So they'll have Rodolphe on with the 2 outs now. And that will bring up Dorian. So Rob Dorian, who's reached on an error and scored in the first, and he flied out to the right fielder in the second. Up for the 3rd time here in the 4th. On deck will be Aaron Bloomer. Boy, he liked that. He went down and fouled it off. Now, the postseason, the Southern Tournament, takes place in Windsor, Vermont. Not that Post 31's even qualified for that yet, but that's their goal, their destination. Step number 1 is to get into the playoffs, and that would be held in Windsor, Vermont. So that's why this is my final broadcast, and if they were fortunate enough to win the Southern Tournament, they would be back there for the state championship tournament at Windsor, Vermont. Yeah, he made an adjustment, brought that same exact pitch, just in about 6 inches, and nailed it for strike 2. So Dorian, we had 2 strikes on him. We'll lay out that one, obviously. He'll go outside, even though he's up at 2-2. And so with the Legion season winding down, going toward the playoffs, I can tell you about fall sports coming up. That's going to be a tough play. Wagner looked into the sun, makes the throw, and we'll get him. And it'll be 3-1. Rutland going into the 5th inning of play over Brattleboro. So Rodolphe with the 7 or the 8, 9, and then top of the order. He's got Martell right now, and that breaking ball too far inside. And he's got Martell up, who's grounded out to the pitcher Rodolphe, and then Velasquez on deck. He grounded out to the shortstop Chad Ryan, and then very pesky Emerson in the number 3 spot this inning. He's got 2 singles, and that's going to be over to Matt Merritt. He'll get down on the ball from the outfield grass, make the throw, and get the out. So you do notice too that they're getting at those leadoff batters out on a more frequent basis now. Now the center fielder Velasquez up. So this game moving along at a good pace. We're in the 5th, top of the 5th to be exact, and like I said, Emerson on deck with 2 hits today for Brattleboro. Velasquez. Yeah, he went to bunt and missed the ball, and it hit him, and all that is a painful strike. He'll limp around, and Velasquez will get a few seconds here to try to walk it off and gather himself. And it's tough. That was Rodolphe, big lollipop curveballs. He squared the bunt, and he swung at it because he never brought the bat back. That's why he's not getting a base awarded to him for being hit by the pitch. It's just a dead ball strike. So he seems to be all right back in the box. Might have a hickey there on his knee where it hit him, but great pitch. But I think it had more bend on it. And he'll quickly be up 0-2, looking for the 2nd out of this inning. He's got the lone strikeout. That came all the way back in the 3rd inning against Scooter Scott, and that's going to be a base hit. So he recovered nicely from being hit with the ball, and now Oliver will get the ball back into play, and Velasquez, with that great speed, will be over at first base. And Emerson has 2 singles. He's 2 for 2 today. And they are going to have Carter hold the runner on over at first base. And Rodolphe with 2 pickoffs today will go to first. And again, not much of a lead there by Velasquez, but Rodolphe with that sweet move over to first base. And Mitch Blair with a stop of a short curveball, stat in the dirt. And Blair with a lot of problem with his knee. That's got to be tough on the back there. Kavanaugh on deck. And then Scooter Scott on double deck. And Rodolphe will make the move to first. And like I said, you can tell when he's going, he exaggerates the leg kick when he's coming over to first base. So in the top of the 5th, Rutland up 3-1. Brattleboro with a runner on first and a tying run at the plate. And again, Blair will knock it down, and Velasquez will head back to first base. He's been getting a very short lead. And that outfield still consists of T.J. Oliver, Rob Dorian, and Jeff Bloomer for Rutland. And on the infield, they have Ryan Carter, Matt Merritt, Chad Ryan, and Aaron Bloomer. Mitch Blair behind the plate, and Joe Rodolphe on the mound, and he's done very well. He's given up some hits, but he spaced them out with no, after that first inning, after he gave up the double and 2 singles, and that will just miss on the inside corner, and he'll go to a 3-ball, no strike count. He's getting very preoccupied with the base runner. So 1 pitch at a time at a 3-0 count, and Rodolphe will have it strike 1 right there with the fastball over the plate. And taking all the way, of course, was Emerson. And you see the shadows starting to extend out toward the mound now. the batter is in the shadows, pitcher in the sunlight, they'll throw to first. And the reason I mention that is tough right now on the hitter to pick up the ball from the pitcher with the sunlight the way it's sitting. That will change by the bottom half of the sixth, so when everybody will be in the shade on the infield. And that will be pounded foul down the third baseline. So he's got it back to a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1 on. 3-1 Rutland with the lead over Brattleboro. Rutland did drop the first game 12-4. And an ugly, ugly game by Post 31. Again, Velasquez hasn't been getting that big a lead over there at first base, and Rodolphe a lot to do with that, keeping him in check over there. It's going to get shut up, and the sign's been given. The target will be missed, and now the runner will go down to second base. There he is. He'll just jog down, and so yet again, they give up the base on the walk, and that'll be his... Oh, you kidding me? It's his first walk. So the third time that Emerson's been on base. Now Andrew Kavanaugh up. And Coach Sorelli going to come on out and talk to his pitcher, Rodolphe. For a lengthy meeting, they're going to stick with Mr. Rodolphe here with the 1 out and the 2 on. And Kavanaugh will get the pitch outside corner and call a strike. Yeah, Kavanaugh has had a double in the first inning, scored a run, and then flied out to Rob Dorian in center field. And that's a check swing right back to Rodolphe. He'll go for the force out, and boy, nice job by Bloomer, and thank goodness they didn't throw it around. Yeah, that was very reminiscent of the ball hit back to the pitcher, Rutland's pitcher in the Woodstock game, where he wanted the same thing, then threw the ball about 10 feet over the third baseman's head. I'm just getting my force out. I want 1-5. Okay, so 2 down now. For Scooter Scott, he has singled, has an RBI, and then he struck out in the third. And again, Brattleboro with a runner at first and second. And boy, Scott fooled on the pitch, commits to it, can't check a swing, and it'll be strike 1. Nate Boudreau on deck for Brattleboro, post 5. Rodolphe in the 5th, trying to work out a little bit of a pickle here. That'll be high. Trying to hold that 2-run lead. I've got a feeling if you can get out of this inning right here, you'll see him in the 6th. They do have Mike Triller warming up in the bullpen area for Rutland Post 31. Now, he threw very effectively the other night, or the afternoon up in Windsor, but this isn't Windsor. And he's going to be a race to the bag, and he will get him, and that will be the inning. They'll strand a couple. And Rutland will maintain that 3-1 lead going into the bottom of the 5th. Isaac Earl will be looking at Bloomer and Carter with Chad Ryan in the number 4 spot. Now, Earl has not pitched bad at all. He's had an extended first inning where some base on balls and errors really hurt him. But then he's settled in rather nicely here, not going to say coasting along, but in control. Not really hurting himself in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. And he's in the 5th inning, trailing by just a 3-1 score. He's got a 1-1 count. And that one will miss again. So Aaron Bloomer has struck out in the 1st, slide out to right field in the 3rd, and getting his 3rd look now at Isaac Earl, the Brattleboro pitcher. The winning pitcher in that first game was Ryan Smith, and that's in Sunfield, and Kavanaugh will have it for the first out. So 1 down for Jeff Bloomer. He has walked and scored in the 1st, and he struck out in the 3rd. He's one of 3 strikeout victims in the ball game for Isaac Earl. Brattleboro with a good stable of pitchers. We've seen 2 of them here today in this doubleheader. And we haven't seen their best one yet, Scooter Scott. And that's going to be all through the hole at short. That'll be a base hit. And that'll put a runner on with 1 down for post 31. And again, they can't get enough insurance runs for me. I see Ryan Carter up. He is an RBI, and he has walked and scored. After Carter will be the hot hitting Chad Ryan, followed by even the hotter hitting Mike Sorelli. You can see those shadows now starting to extend out over the mound. He won't get the call on that. It was a tantalizing pitch, but just a little bit too far outside. And it'll be ball 1. Again, Brattleboro with their lone run back in the first, Rollin with 2 in the first and 1 in the third. And again, looking to get a couple more here as we're getting into the later section for the 5th, scheduled for 7. A win by Rutland, and they can take a big sigh of relief. They are in the playoffs. So a very conservative lead over at first base by Jeff Bloomer. And Carter will rip that through the hole at short for a single. So post 31 now, putting together back-to-back singles. Trying to get that offense in line and on gear and get in the playoffs with it. Now Chad Ryan up. He has reached on an error and he has singled. And they're going to bring in a runner for Carter. I'm just waiting to get the name. Matt Consolati coming in to pinch run for Ryan Carter. So Consolati on first base with good speed, and Chad Ryan at the plate. And Bloomer at second base. Average speed out there at second. I think Jeff would agree with that. And that big old breaking ball will drop right in there for strike 1. Yeah, so they're just confirming the fact that Equistapace suffered a damaged finger. Whether it's broken or not, they need x-rays, but it looks like the season's over for Zach. On his throwing hand also. And that miss for a 1-1 count. 3-1 Rutland. We're in the bottom of the 5th against Brattleboro post 5. And yeah, the sun has come out now. And I don't think we have to worry about the rain or thunder showers. And it'll be off the catchers, and that'll allow the runners, both of them, to move up. See Bloomer going to third and Consolati going to second. So, boy, if they can just get that timely hit, driving a couple more runs here. So Isaac Earl with the 1 down, trying to work himself out of a jam. Like I say, he's got 3 strikeouts in the ball game. He'd love number 4 right here, but Chad Ryan has been seeing the ball well and hitting the ball well. This foul tip caught by the catcher for strike 2. Not only did he start off the season hitting the ball well, but he just got more consistent as the season went along. He became not only a singles hitter, but he started hitting the gaps for doubles. And it doesn't hurt the fact that he's got tremendous speed. And right there he does something very well. 2 strikes, he'll protect the plate. And with the 2 strikes, we've seen an awful lot this year where they don't protect the plate. And they'll take strike 3 looking. Not the case right there. Again, the sun out, and that's brutal on the left fielder, the third baseman. Yeah, he got him with that one. That was a dandy of a curveball. So he'll get him looking for strikeout number 4. And now Sorelli up. He has walked and singled and has an RBI. And again, that was just a sweet-looking curveball right there. So now Sorelli, they want to strand those 2 runners out there in scoring position. They had them at second and third with less than 2 down. And this is where their season, like I said, I can't remember that many big innings. I can't remember any big innings against quality clubs. And he'll lay off that elevated fastball. So it rose out of the strike zone for 2 balls, no strikes now. And TJ Oliver on deck for post 31. And see Sorelli watching that coming all the way for ball 3. Now this is where I don't understand a lot of the coaching, not just Tony, but other coaches. They'll hold them up 3-0, but they'll let them swing away 3-1. This is usually the best pitch in the sequence. Oh, right down the pipe. Nope, I just never got that. So Isaac Earl will walk him. So Sorelli will go to first base on the walk. That is the second time he has drawn the walk today. So TJ Oliver, who struck out in the 4th inning and lined out to the first baseman. And Isaac Earl's going to get another visit to the mound, and we could be having a pitching change right here as the base is loaded with 2 down in the bottom of the 5th, and rolling up by 2 runs. You see the head coach out there, Ben Clark. He hasn't reached for the ball yet. He's talking to Isaac Earl. They got to force out at any base right now. Again, a lot to recap here as far as what would happen. The scenario if Rutland loses this second game is just so complicated, and I've heard so many different answers that I'm just going to go with the safe answer. If Rutland wins, they're in the playoffs. It's that simple. So they are going to stay with Isaac Earl, and he will face TJ Oliver. So here's one of those opportunities where Rutland can really do some damage and increase that 3-1 lead, and Oliver will step in. Now, the first game he was DH'd for because he was the pitcher. And like I said before, he went away on vacation. He was consistently hitting the ball well for Rutland. And they'll get that inside corner called, and Oliver didn't like the call, but it tickled the inside part of the plate for a 1-1 count now. And Matt Merritt is the on-deck batter for Rutland. He went down and got it, and it's going to be up the middle, base hit, 1 run coming in. They're going to wave Consolati home. They have a problem picking the ball up in center field, and 2 runs coming in, and TJ Oliver over there with a RBI, 2 RBI single, and boy, he just kept his head on the ball, drove through it with his front foot. I want to see where Sorelli ends up. He ends up at second base, Oliver at first, and like I said, that's 2 RBIs for Oliver. And now Merritt up. Now Merritt today is 0 for 2. He has grounded out to the pitcher and popped up to the second baseman, Martell. And that curveball will get the benefit of the call, and it'll become a strike 1 count. 5-1 Rutland in the bottom of the 5th. But you know, we're only in the 5th, still a lot of baseball left. They'll be pushed toward Martell. He'll come over, stay down on the ball, pick it up, and he'll get the out, but Rutland will plate 2 more runs. They'll have the 5-1 lead over Brattleboro going into the top of the 6th. New pitcher out there for post 31 will be Ryan Carter. He started this ball game off at first base. He's now the pitcher going into the 6th inning. Rodolfi had 1 strikeout, allowed 6 hits, walked 1 batter, did his job, got him into the 6th inning with the lead, 5-1. Actually, from that 2nd inning on, pitched very well for Rutland. And that's going to be strike 1 on nothing but pure heat coming in. So Oliver, TJ Oliver goes over and takes over first base. Rodolfi goes from the mound to right field. Merritt stays at second. Ryan's at short. Aaron Bloomer at third. Mitch Blair stays at the catcher spot. Dorian is in center, and that is Jeff Bloomer in left field. That's the changes out there for Rutland in the 6th. And that one explodes up and out of the strike zone for ball 2. Nate Boudreau, Colby Bonet, and Mike Dixon, the 3 due up here for Brattleboro post 5. They won the first ball game 12-4. Rutland with the 5-1 lead here in the second game, and that pitch called a strike, and we'll have a 2-2 count. Carter throws extremely hard. And when things go his way, he'll just catch and fire, and he'll get the sign and target set and the pitch on the way. Strike 3, he'll start him off by setting him down. on strikes. And now Colby Bonet up, and he has flied out to left and flied out to center, and that was against Rodolphe, so he's 0 for 2 in the ball game. First time we'll get to see Ryan Carter this afternoon. A Rutland win propels them into the playoffs. As far as their positioning, unknown yet. There's still teams with games left to play. And that one high and hard, and he won't offer at it. It'll be ball one. So Mike Dixon will be the on-deck batter for Brattleboro. And they'll be fouled back into the screen on what's turned out to be a perfect night for this second ball game. Good temperature, no breeze to speak of, the sun behind the clouds. And boy, give Rutland Post 31, not that this game is over yet, a lot of credit coming off that disastrous first game. They've really gained control, refocused, and played very sharp here in this second ball game. Foul tip caught by Mitch Blair. Strike 2. So 1-2 the count with one strikeout already to his credit. Carter up in the count to Colby Bonet. Into the windup, the pitch on the way, and he'll get him. We'll change up speeds and get him strike 3. So 2 up, 2 down on strikeouts, and Mike Dixon up now. He singled in the second and then grounded out to third base his last time up, which was back in the 4th inning. So base is clean, 2 outs, top of the 6th. We're scheduled for 7, and on deck is Peter Wagner. Yeah, they come around to Wagner, Martell, and Velasquez. And that's been the dangerous part of the order for Brattleboro, especially Wagner. Now Wagner in this ballgame had the double, tried to stretch it into the triple, and was gunned out on that 9-4-5 relay throw on just a beautifully executed play by Rutland's defense. And again, he'll lay off that, and he'll go to 2 balls, no strikes. He got the first 2 batters on strikeouts, swinging strikeouts. And behind Dixon here, 2 balls, no strikes. He'll bring it down and get strike 1 called. So as we review the doubleheader, like we said, Equistapace with a damaged finger on his throwing hand. He'll be fouled back into the screen. They'll leave everything up at 2-2. So they have lost Equistapace. I don't know if Muskowski's back or not. Blair playing with a very bad knee. But if they can, this is the end of their season right here for the regular season. Regardless, if they get the win, they'll have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday prepare for the playoffs. And they'll be able to recycle their innings, pitching-wise. That's the inning. He'll strike out all 3 batters. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Rutland up 5-1 over Brattleboro. Looking at Rodolphe, Dorian, and Aaron Bloomer. The 3 due up here in the bottom of the 6th against Isaac Earl. And beautiful bunt. They'll push it down. Barehanded. Off-balance throw. And got him. What a tremendous play by Wagner at third base. Not only has he done it with the bat today, but he's done it with the glove. Tell you, it had to be a perfect play to get him out. Dorian up now. He walked and scored. He actually reached on an error and scored in the first inning, flied out to right field, and then grounded out to the third baseman, Wagner, and that's going to be a foul ball strike. So Wagner charged hard, barehanded, an off-balance throw to first and got him. And Rodolphe, no slouch getting down the line either. Oh, drop the curveball in. Beautiful. In the bottom of the 6th to Dorian. Rutland with 2 runs in the first, 1 in the third, 2 in the 5th. That accounts for their 5 runs. Brattleboro, their lone run coming back in the first. And he'll retire Dorian on swinging strike 3 for the second out here. Now Aaron Bloomer up. He struck out in the first, flied out to right and flied out to left. That's what I mean. Isaac Earl, really, if you go through the book and look, has done a very decent job on the mound for Brattleboro. He's got a very impressive breaking ball. Yeah, and you go back to the innings that really got him was the 1st and the 5th inning, where the big damage was done. That's going to be to the shortstop. Now it's going to be third base. Wagner will take it, and Brattleboro coming up in the top of the 7th, which is 3 outs left to work with. Rutland just 3 outs away from qualifying for the playoffs. So a man that's been a big obstacle for Rutland pitchers all day, Pete Wagner up. He had that 3-run homer back in the first ball game. He's also had a double and a single, and then in this ball game he's had the double that he tried to stretch into the triple. Yeah, Wagner, Martel, and Velasquez due up here for Brattleboro. Rutland rebounding from that 12-4 loss, have a 5-1 lead here in the second game, and a win locks up a playoff spot. Now be fouled out of play for a strike. Carter on in his second inning of relief struck out all 3 batters that he faced in the 6th. And trying to preserve the win for Joe Rodolfi. Again, he brought the outfield way back on Wagner. And again, he changed up speeds there, went from the fastball to the breaking ball, and that'll be fouled out for strike 2. So Carter able to get up in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Again, Rodolfi with the 6 hits allowed, 1 strikeout, 1 walk. So he'll look into Mitch Blair, get the sign, and now we'll watch where Blair will set up and right off the fish. That's a very good job of adjusting on flight of the ball coming in, just to follow it out by Wagner. It looked to be the off-speed stuff right there. And by the time you see a guy throwing in between the 85 and 90 at you, and all of a sudden you see this off-speed pitch coming at you, you got to get everything cycling down pretty quick as a hitter. Got him for strikeout number 4 in a row. Outside corner. He's now struck out 4 in a row. And I'll bring up Joel Martel and Mr. Wagner. A big obstacle to get over, and he is on the bench now. Brattleboro down to the final 2 outs. They will maintain the number 1 spot even if they go on to lose here to Rutland. It's Rutland that will benefit the biggest with the win. Martel 0 for 2 in this ball game. He's grounded out to the pitcher and grounded out to Matt Merritt at second base. And right on the corner for strike 1. Again, accuracy, heat, intimidation, all those factors going on for Carter on the mound. Then you see him change up speeds, come back, and had the batter fooled, had him turn, but he missed too far inside. It'll be a 1-1 count now. Yeah, a lot of character check for Rutland after coming in with the embarrassing loss to Woodstock, the very heartbreaking loss to Bellows Falls, and then getting hammered here in the first game against Brattleboro. They're a very resilient group as they stay in position to control their own fate and make the playoffs. And on a swing and a miss, it'll be strike 2. Looking for his 5th strikeout, and as many batters pitch on the way. Nope, elevated the fastball, went up the ladder, and couldn't get him to chase it, so it'll be 2-2 the count. And all you can hear is Mitch Blair's glove just popping when he catches the ball. And a pitch on the way, and
up the wall, kid, up the wall, let's go.
Little Bull Durham action right there. And he'll have it to a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. And right there, it's just a matter actually of overthrowing right now. I believe the adrenaline's probably pumping pretty good in him. Got him. On a pitch up and out of the strike zone, they'll tag him, and that'll become strikeout number 5 in a row as they're doing it in style. And I'll bring up David Velasquez, who is grounded out to the shortstop Chad Ryan and singled. So Rutland just 1 out away from punching their ticket to Windsor, Vermont, of all places, for the Southern Tournament. What a reward for the victory, going to Windsor. Strike 1, just overpowered him with the fastball. You can just watch the mechanics, the form. Now that time he couldn't get him to go for it. It's a 1-1 count now. Like I said, he's faced 5 batters, 5 strikeouts. And I'll go to 2 balls, 1 strike. So Carter trying to settle it down here with the 2 outs in the top of the 7th, 5-1 Rutland over the top team in the South, statistically, record-wise, Brattleboro. That will be determined in the tournament if they are the overall number one as far as at the end of the double elimination tournament, and he'll go to a 3-1 count. On top of the order, sitting on deck. And we'll go back to a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes is Velasquez after that elevated fastball. Yeah, and now it's really, it's up to Carter. He has such an arsenal of pitches of what he'll choose to throw here on the full count. So for the playoff spot, the pitch on the way. Nope. He'll prolong it, and that'll be the first base runner for Brattleboro since Carter came on. Now Jordan Emerson up. Emerson has been on base all 3 times today. He has singled twice and walked. Oh, there is no action in the bullpen. This will start and finish with Brian Carter. No, you've got to bring it down. Throwing hard, but you've got to reel it in a little bit emotionally. So the first time from the stretch, and Velasquez not being held on, Oliver playing behind the runner. And they can't bring it down, and that'll be ball 2. Andrew Kavanaugh waits on deck in case Emerson can extend this inning. We're in the 7th, and I'm looking to seal it up here. Yep, 3 balls, no strikes. And I'll tell you right now, he is taking all the way. And it's very quiet between pitches here at St. Peter's Field. And that'll be back-to-back walks. Puts runners at first and second for Andrew Kavanaugh, who has doubled, flied out to center, and reached on a fielder's choice. And Mitch Blair will come out and have a chat with Ryan Carter. And here comes Tony Sorelli now, and he'll have a chat with him. 2 down in the 7th, 2 on, 5-1 Rutland over Brattleboro. It's finished. I don't know what was said, but I never had a doubt that he was going to leave him in there. And now he'll be looking at Andrew Kavanaugh now. So Brattleboro won't go down quietly. They have the runners at first and second with 2 outs. Still a lot of rope though, the Rutland with that 4-run lead. But the danger part here is if they allow Kavanaugh to get on, that'll bring the tying run to the plate and probably Brattleboro's best hitter, Scooter Scott. And he'll miss high and inside again. So after 5 consecutive strikeouts, he's had back-to-back walks, and now 2-0 in the count now to Kavanaugh. So he'll come to set. And miss again. Goes to 3 balls, no strikes. So he's going to make it. I don't want to say interesting, but he's going to make it hard on everybody. There is strike 1. 3 balls, 1 strike, and the only advice you can really give somebody who's so independent and strong like Ryan as Carter is, just you forget to count. You just take it 1 pitch at a time. He's got 1 strike. How you work on this one? Strike 2, just like that. Yeah, 1 pitch at a time. He's got it back to a full count now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So Ryan Carter will just prolong it. This will give his father a chance to get around now to get down to the bleachers. So, well, let me show you. See that guy running over by the concession stand in the tank top? That's Glenn Carter. Well, I would say walking fast, not running. Yeah. Got him, strike 3. Now we'll take a look at Glenn walking slower as he's relieved, and Rutland will make the postseason. Big sigh of relief from that Rutland Post 31 dugout. Chance to celebrate as they knock off Brattleboro in the nightcap 5-1. Joe Rodolphe with the win. Ryan Carter, nice job of not getting the technical save, but coming in to shut down Brattleboro in the 6th and 7th. So again, I hope you've enjoyed all the Legion baseball action brought to you on Munger Vision on PEGTV channel 15. And best of luck. And best of luck to Rutland Post 31 on their trip to Windsor for the Southern Tournament. And also thank everybody for tolerating me for one more season of Legion baseball action. And thank Rutland Post 31 for allowing me to videotape the games and put them on channel 15. Again, the website's PEGTV.com. And I always support Legion baseball.